Just give me a sec. I went live and I forgot to sign into Vim, so I'm an idiot. Please hold. Please hold. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome. Welcome to a very unique episode of the Crypto Maniacs Podcast. This is pretty crazy, Task. Do you want to get out your Google Maps and see where I am right now, or you don't care? No.
Honestly, I don't give a shit where you are.
Okay, perfect.
You know where I am? No, and you don't give a creep either. So we're even on that. So
I'm actually very close to the American border right now.
Well,
I'm still not allowed to come over yet. I got to get my passport but I'll be over soon, man. I'm coming. Hello, Eliana. Welcome.
I'm close to Cuba, so maybe I'll go see Manny. If you
Perfect.
show up in the States, I'll head to Cuba.
I like it. Yes, welcome, folks. And this is a little different than what you're used to. This is kind of the new way that we kind of have to do things because John Go is officially, I guess, a trucker now. Like, is that, I have a little bit of pride saying that, man. I've only done one load. Like, it's like
there's nothing wrong with that.
I love it.
It's good work, and it's needed, and it won't be automated out for a while.
I got 10 years. That's what I'm thinking. Probably 5 at least.
Oh, at least 5. I mean, first off, you got to get the technology. Then you got to go through all the regulations. So the regulatory process is going to take, in my estimation, in North America, probably 3 or 4 years from the day we get any fully autonomous level 5 stuff. And, we're not there yet. So it's a while. And, it's the thing about technology is you expect the impact quicker than it usually happens, but it's coming. That computers will be able to drive. Hell, computers fly planes when you think about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did. Just being on the road for the 48 hours that I have been, let me just say, computers are needed to drive cars a lot quicker. I'm just saying.
You ought to try Florida in snowbird season,
dude. Like I thought, I've driven since I was 16 years old, so I assumed I've seen a lot. But all the guys that were training me to drive trucks are like, you haven't seen anything yet. You like just a little bit on the road, dude. I have seen some of the most spectacular talent for driving in just 48 hours of driving this thing. Like, wow, it's pretty great.
Unreal, and we let these people vote. I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
I love it, dude. But I love it. This is just such a cool job, man. But I'm grateful that I can actually hang out with you and do this.
Think of what with technology and the internet and Wi-Fi. I mean, you can do this stuff from the road. It's like, 40 years ago, we would have had to rent studio space out to record this show, and then pay a company to burn CDs to send it out. I mean, and people forget, inflation. It's like, dude, this show would have cost us $10,000.
Have no
40
idea.
years ago.
Unbelievable. But thank you for everyone tuning in. We got some people on Vim as well as on YouTube. Eliane is there saying trucking adventures. Yeah, it's coming. But there was a threadcast, so we should dive in because apparently there's a ton of questions. I've been sitting there.
I didn't look at them, so I just sent it out, and good that we got people excited.
I like it. On the road with my backdrop, but that's a better. And thank you for again using the image. Like, that's 2 for 2, man.
I know. I'll be honest with you, John. Yeah. Sometimes I impress myself, and I am very impressed with that.
That's good, man. It's good.
And yes, Eliana, I grew up on cassette tape, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. I love it. Dave said, when Animaniacs on Cryptomaniac show? I'll love them. I'll squeeze them and hug them. And
Since this is blockchain and open source and open, and he already turned it into that. He put there's the anime right on there.
I love it.
Thanks to Dave Dickey, y'all. That's what we got.
It's too funny. It's too funny.
Yep.
That was such a great show too. I loved it.
I don't even know what it means, but anyway.
It was pretty funny, man. It was like cartoons, but like really borderline, like, it was still kid stuff, but before The Simpsons and before Family Guy, it was yeah, it was pretty funny. Anyway, it's a great show. And Dane said, "Oh no, now that's a song that's going to be in my head all day." Yep, absolutely. Paz says, tonight on the show for the first time, welcome. We appreciate you, especially coming and tuning into the show live from the back of the Kenworth. That's what we're gonna live from the back of the Kenworth. That's the name. That's a podcast name there. Crypto at the back of a Kenworth. Yeah. Don't give up your.
So I mean, I want to hear about, like, I'm going to send you on some investigative reporting. Can I do that?
Please do.
Because yes. I hear there's a lot of hookers at truck stops. So on your next show, can you give us an update of the hooker situation on the truck stops? Nifty is very interested. I'm sure Dave Dickey's interested. And Eliana may want some extra organs. So, there's a lot of people to be interested.
Yeah, dude, I haven't seen one, but I've only been to. This is my third truck stop.
Okay, we have to give you a week or two on the road.
Perfect, and it's probably more prevalent down in your neck of the woods than.
I have no idea. That's why you got to do this research for us.
Yes, research. Perfect.
It might be. I don't know.
Sunseeker, hello, welcome to the show. Oh, Task is on fire tonight. Nifty says, when will we have a schedule where people can listen to both shows without having two devices? What? Do you get that? Because he does it with Discord. They stream on Discord, right? I think.
Yeah, they're on Discord, but I don't know what he means by two devices. I don't know what that means.
Because they go through the phone and or something, and they use the computer. I think. I don't know.
Well, I think do they Zoom too?
Yes, and Zoom too. They Zoom and Discord.
But that's still one device. It's different apps. I mean, we got different apps. We got Vim, we got Facebook, we got Twitter. I mean, we got different apps. Right. It's still, you can listen to it on one. I don't know what. Nifty, just stick to feed. You confuse us when you get away from feed.
Please let us know, Nifty, if you're tuning in. Let us know what exactly you meant. But I've heard that John is an expert on this, so please explain why Ethereum and XRP are so good from a usability standpoint. Dude, I'm definitely the expert. Well, I know XRP went to the moon today because they got the You're Not a Security thing or whatever. Good for the holders, the XRP army that have been saying this for years. I mean, it's a win for them. Sure. I mean, I don't know. XRP to me was always like, okay, they say they're the banker chain. Well, Ethereum's kind of the banker chain, right? Like,
I think Ethereum's going to be taken over by banks. Yeah. That's my forecast.
I don't know enough about XRP other than it's funny because I joined Steam and XRP. Like, I bought the tokens at the same time. Fun fact. I don't know, man. I don't know. What would you say? I mean, I don't really have any input on XRP other than way to go XRP army for holding all this time, and now you got rewarded.
Yeah, the big question is now, can we start hating on XRP again and saying it's not a cryptocurrency?
Yes, I like it.
That's what the big thing was about 2017. Well, XRP is not even crypto. It's a centralized system, which it is, but they're not the only one out there now. Hell, everything's centralized, but Hive and
Bitcoin.
And
even Bitcoin, the mining is pretty much centralized, right?
I wouldn't say it's centralized. They got 4 or 5 large miners, but they're diversified enough in enough countries that I don't believe a 51% attack at this point is possible on Bitcoin. I think they're they're beyond that. But you never know. But I think they're pretty much beyond that level of concern. I think they're safe there.
Nice.
Litecoin, I have no idea. I don't know about the like mining pools on Litecoin and how that's spread out. I have no idea on Litecoin or BCH or any of them.
Yeah. Nifty was talking about how our two shows are overlapping. Dude, I'm sorry, man. I mean, the problem with me now is I have no idea about a schedule. That's like the roughest thing for me right now. I mean, Task and I will have to sit down and figure it out, because right now it's just a miracle that I'm actually doing this right now because the schedule worked out for me. But I don't know what it'll be like next Thursday. I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I won't let you down, Nifty. I promise. Task might. I won't.
That's okay. I'm used to disappointing most everybody. Started with my parents and kept spreading. So,
yes, perfect. Love it. Task, do you think the SEC decision on XRP will affect the entire market? If so, to what degree? That is from Nifty as well.
Yeah, I think it will, because if nothing else, it clears some headwinds. The fact that there's now a precedent set, even if it's temporarily, because I guarantee the SEC will appeal this decision. But at least for now, XRP can run around and say we're not a security. And a lot of other entities will start running around, their defense attorneys will start running around saying we're the same as XRP. Right. And I don't think we want to look at this from a market perspective necessarily in isolation. But keep in mind, this comes on the back of BlackRock filing for a Bitcoin spot ETF. This comes on back of the sentiment there that many feel that'll be approved. Then today, another piece of news, Argentina approved its first Bitcoin futures contract. So we're starting to see stuff spread. I just put up an article before this show. Everybody's asking when the bull market starts. It may have started. I mean, don't forget, Bitcoin got down to 15K. We're double where it was before. So we may have already started to come off the floor, not going to go back. We haven't gone parabolic. It's not FOMO yet. But
isn't that a good thing? Like, don't you think that's a good, me personally, I've always thought slow and steady is the best way for this.
Well, bottoms always are rounded. Tops tend to be V's where everybody just sputters out and things crash. But bottoms tend to be slow because people still have the overhang of, well, what if we're going to go back to 20K, or what if we're going to go back to 10K, or, they still have the bear overhang where they're still scared of the price of assets going down. And so that's why some people get into it, but it's like people are worried about a reversal. So it tends to take a while, and, you get higher levels and they consolidate, then you go up a little bit higher, they consolidate. And then at some point you get the markets to get the FOMO, and that's when they go parabolic during the bull. But, we may be in the early bull market. I expect, I expect we bottomed, and, we may sideways, we may inch a little higher here and there for the next few months. But I think the bottom's in. But again, that's just a guess.
Tokenize is on Vim as well as on Threads. He says, hello, Maniacs. Are there any risks in holding HBD other than Hive going below the haircut price?
Well, the blockchain going down. I mean, if the blockchain stops, if the witnesses stop running the blockchain, you're right. Screwed. That is your major risk, is the haircut. But even then, the haircut's not said and done. That just stops producing HBD. That brings into question the ability of the chain to convert for $1 worth of Hive. But right. The market could still be trading at $1. And again, this is where, you have to keep in mind, tokenized, and I've written about this extensively. the value of a currency doesn't come from its backing. The value of a currency comes from the economic productivity tied to the currency. So right now, the economic productivity of HBD is almost non-existent, especially outside Sucre. But over time, as the economic productivity grows, the backing becomes less important because people are holding HBD because they want to keep it in their account to gamble with. They want to keep it to buy their groceries. They want to keep it to buy NFTs. They want to keep it to pay their electric bill and keep it. They want to keep it to, whatever it is, the utility of the stable coin. And again, this is different from what I call value capture tokens, like Hive is a value capture. It reflects the value of the blockchain, of the ecosystem. But a stable coin is a medium of exchange, it's transactional. And so it's designed to have that price stability to allow for what money was created for. And remember, money was created for commerce. Money was created to replace the barter system. So when you look at HBD, and it's like, well, what's it made for? It's made for the idea of stimulating economic productivity. And it's that economic productivity that gives it value. So if we have, I'll just throw out a number. If we have $25 billion worth of economic productivity tied to HBD, that's tremendous value in the token, regardless of what it's backed by, because all those people engaging in that activity, they're going to keep doing it, whatever that activity is. And again, you could have gaming, you could have gambling, you could have, financial, DeFi, loans, payments, you name it, whatever.
Thank you, Toby. Appreciate it. Forex Broker said, did you remember the post, the Threadcast image all by yourself? He did, because I literally sent him a note like 3 hours ago, said, dude, I'll be a little bit late. So that's the only talk I've had with him. So he did it all by himself. 110%. That's all task.
It was all me.
It's all
I take full credit for it.
Beautiful. Manu is up. He's got a couple questions. He says, how and when do you see the Crypto Maniacs show leveling up and becoming one of the most viewed podcasts in the crypto world? Oh, well, we've already beaten Joe Rogan. I mean,
well, we're forget the crypto world, man. We're going after Joe Rogan. I mean, we're John Go and I are, we're just waiting for the contract offers to roll in from, Spotify and Pandora and these different platforms. So, crypto is small potatoes to us.
It's funny though that he mentions that. I mean, this is I've told people this for years in the online business world, and I said, with this stuff, your best chance is to keep going. That's the best shot you have, because nothing is worse than someone getting all excited about something, getting everyone all bought into what they're selling, and then they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
In any industry, like especially if you're trying to make sales, if you're trying to get followers, if you're trying to get listeners. So the best chance we have of growing Crypto Maniacs is, we got to hopefully put on an enjoyable event for you guys. But it's also so someone logs on and sees, oh, it's episode 235. They got 234 more of these I can listen to. I'm in. That's how I think it will work. And I'm seeing it a lot on the replays of this show. Like, Hive is still very niche with the live stream. Vim does a great job with it. Threads does a fantastic job with the engagement. But at the end of the day, still the majority of the listens we get are on Spotify. 100% on Spotify. And it's, I'd say 3Speak is probably, we get really good replays on that, but Spotify is above and beyond, just because of the way that it's set up for podcasts. So it's working. It's just the best chance we have is to keep going and hopefully put on a good show for you guys. So
yeah, and I will say this, Manny. One of the problems that we have is, my observation is, in crypto, the shows that seem to be very popular outside the Pomps and guys like that who just have a huge following for many different reasons. But a lot of these people, it's because they're basically crypto whores. And what I mean by that is they'll just throw out, oh, they'll clickbait it like Ethereum going to 27,000 by next Thursday, and they'll talk for an hour
Let's talk
on
about
just
it. Yeah.
how wonderful Ethereum is and every reason why it's going to 27,000. And that's what most crypto people want, is they want to tune into those shows that, you know, people who talk about their tokens going to the moon. So whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, whatever it is, it's like, tell me it's going to the moon and I'll sit and listen to you for an hour because now I'm in an echo chamber hearing what I want to hear. Well, John and I don't really engage in this. We don't really talk about that. We're really not, we don't watch the price of stuff, from the perspective of, oh, this is what's valuable because the price suddenly went up 25%. We could really give a shit. I mean, we have what we believe is valuable, where value comes from. And my belief is markets don't even know what value is when it bites them in the ass. So, they just move things up and down, and it's like, it is what it is. But we try to go into other things, and we also tend not to deviate too much away from Hive, other than when John's called upon to provide his Ethereum knowledge and his MetaMask knowledge.
Please do.
Outside of that, we don't really go into it too much. So it is niche. It is what we've established our platform on. As Hive gets bigger, maybe we'll get bigger. I mean, who knows? But either way, I do agree with what John was saying. That's that word we always talk about, consistency.
Yep.
And we're here again. John's in the back of a truck, but we're on the air. I mean, that's
right at the border in the back of a truck.
Well,
that sounds like a CSI show. Jeez, yeah. Manny comes back with, which two dApps of Hive do you think could bring more users in the next bull market? Well, I think to, for sure, and I would say Leo. And then, but see, which two? Because I think it's, but then you got to get 3Speak and Speak Network and everything they're doing. And then, of course, my wife is just calling me. Just give me one sec, guys. Sorry. Okay. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I think, because I know some of the plans, Leo is certainly on that list. I don't know much about him, but it seems like Decency is doing some stuff. Leica2 has an Instagram type app. I don't know what they're doing, what type of outreach that has. I'm very optimistic about 3Speak also, Speak Network. Then you have to look at some of the games. I still don't overlook Splinterlands.
Oh no, for sure.
I mean, they've had some headwinds, but they're still building and doing things. Maybe a CyberX. I mean, that's the cool thing about Hive is there's a lot of different players in this, and there may be other things that we have no clue about. But to me, I mean, honestly, I'm putting all my eggs in the Leo basket. If I had to say, okay, what's going to be successful going forward? I'm not saying it's the only thing that's going to be successful. I'm not saying that there's not other projects that are doing wonderful. There are wonderful projects. I mean, I just rattled off 4 or 5. But again, it's all going to depend upon the usability, the stability of the app, the outreach, the ability to track people, what users want, what strikes a fancy with people, and that's up in the air. We're still looking for that killer dApp, not only on Hive but in crypto. We still have not found that killer dApp yet.
That's true. Yeah, I think just like you said, it'll be something that's got the usability. It's got something that is a very unique experience, and not just on Hive. I think just like you said, Task, it's crypto wide. We still haven't seen that.
No,
but there's tons of stuff on Hive that has all of the right ingredients. So
yeah,
it's a great question, Manny, because there's tons of stuff being built here that truly is remarkable. Speaking of things that are being built here that are remarkable. Cal building Leo. What are your thoughts on XRP, both from a token standpoint and the broader regulations? Well, I think Tass hit the nail on the head. I think, what does this open up to other projects? Because they could say, hey, look, we're just like XRP. Look, what, So that's the standard now, because now they can, people can literally throw that in all the regulators' face and say, well, so double-edged sword, though, I'm sure. But
well, and there's another piece to this puzzle that's hard to figure where it fits, but do not overlook it, and that's politicians. And
yes.
The pro crypto politicians now were given a huge they weren't given a bone, they were given a piece of steak. And politicians, they love to grandstand. So they're going to be beating their chests, and these are the same ones who've been attacking Gensler for, regulation through enforcement and whatever they've been throwing out. And
right.
this just is blood in the water. So, maybe in terms of legislation, nothing comes out because we got to split Congress and they can't agree on lunch. So they're probably not going to do much in terms of legislation. But this gives them a lot of ammunition to start really going in and getting some publicity. And it's election season or coming up, and so how politicians are. They start their trumping, no pun intended.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Forex Broker has actually a really good follow-up question, because he says, do you think this ruling being a long-term negative for Hive as one of the few genuinely unregulatable projects out there? Do you think this is a negative for Hive?
That's a good question. No, I don't think it's a negative, because I think what you have from a regulatory standpoint, Forex, is the fact that, yes, other things may slide into that, which basically means exchanges can hold them, which means they're not going to be under the SEC. But it still, at the end of the day, doesn't make it, in my opinion, a viable project, a viable chain. I mean, Gensler wouldn't answer whether Ethereum's a security or not. But at the end of the day, who gives a crap? Ethereum, unless they get those fees down, which they say they're going to work on in another update, but they have high fees. They have the problem of centralization with their coin voting because of some of those mega wallets that have a ton of Ethereum. At the end of the day, they're looking at KYC. So whether it's a security or not, at the end of the day, doesn't matter, because the usability of Ethereum, in my opinion, just isn't there for anything outside mega bank transactions. Even a social media network, I don't think works with transaction fees. So, I don't think it's a negative, because at the end of the day, whether you're a security or not was just in the initial onset of your token. That doesn't explain the way, just because XRP is not considered security does not mean they cannot be regulated. Ripple Labs can most certainly be regulated. Okay, their token's not a security, but they can be regulated. Circle can be regulated because that's the entity behind USDC. Tether Foundation can be regulated. So all of these entities can be regulated, whether they're securities or not. Hive is unregulatable, not because it's a security or isn't a security. It's unregulatable because we have no centralized entity. Who the hell do you talk to?
Yep. Great question. John Timms is up. Getting the ad view counter to work reliably seems to be hard. Is it important to have it working in order to reward evergreen content in the future?
No, I mean, I presume the counter's working in terms of the analytics. It's just the counter on the site isn't working. I think it's an important thing for motivation. I think it's a really important thing for long form content, even more than the threads. I mean, if a thread gets 50 views, who cares? But long form content is going to be evergreen. it's going to be consistently hit up. So I'm really excited for the counter on long form for Leo Glossary, because what happens when all of a sudden somebody clicks to the cryptocurrency Leo Glossary page and that's been viewed 1,575 times? Or you go to blockchain, it's been viewed 1,300 times or 10,000 times or 5,000 times, whatever the hell the number is, because it's going to be a lifetime counter. And that's really where, when you start to look at the popularity and the success of stuff, I think that evergreen content, you can start to look at that and say, okay, here's an article that ranks rather well in Google. And, this thing gets whatever number of hits per day. And maybe you don't know the hits per day, but you start to look and you see the counter and you say, this single article has generated 4,200 views. To me, that's really the important metric. I mean, we'd like to see them on Threads simply because it gives us something to look at this point. But I think at the end of the day, on Threads, it's even less important than on the long form. But there's
a motivator.
What's that?
It is a motivator, for sure.
Yeah, it's a motivator for Threads, and it's a way for us to. I mean, you look at the numbers on Twitter. I think it's a way, when you start to look at the click count on Threads, then you can start to run some rough valuations of what this thing's worth, because you sit there and you see the page views each day, which Simple Analytics gives. You get an idea of how much the payouts are. You can do a little back of the napkin math and say, okay, this is where we're roughly sitting. It's not exact, it's not a science, but I think that is useful information for people. But it seems like at least the counter on Threads, it's off more than it's on, but so be it. They're working on things. I mean, at this point, it really doesn't mean anything other than our own talking points, because, the program hasn't really kicked off.
He's got quite a few questions here. He follows that one up with, in the future, editing threads may require a certain amount of LP threshold. Am I wrong in thinking that people will just reply to what they can't edit with a correction addendum? It might make things messy.
You can do that now, or just write another damn thread. It's yeah, it's the idea that they seem to be running with is, and it's a twist on Twitter Blue. Instead of what Elon appears to be doing, is he's given this subscription, or offering a subscription. You pay $8 a month, and he's going to build all these features for those subscribers.
Right.
This is a takeoff that, where we're using LP to determine what features can be accessed by what. So, you may need 500 LP or whatever. I'm just making up numbers here. 500 LP to edit a thread. You may need 2,500 LP to have a poll that you can use your own token with as the basis of the voting. I mean, you can look at different things. Maybe embed a video, you need a certain amount of LP. I mean, I don't know, but it's an interesting idea, and certainly worth a experimentation. I don't know how it'll be worked out, and the worst thing that happens is it doesn't work out and you shut it off. But I don't know if segregating things in that way is the best approach. I mean, I've never really seen it, so it may prove valuable. But then again, is it really necessary based upon your goal? Is obviously to buy and hold Leo, but if you have enough other incentives in place, is that really one of them? I don't know. So these are all things that we'll have to see in the future.
Follows it up. Will apologies for the phone ring, and the wife's calling, mom's calling. Everyone wants to know how I'm doing. It's good to feel like people actually care, Task. They care.
I don't know, because I don't care and I'm not cared about. So
Thank
And
you.
I'm happy that way. Leave me the fuck alone.
Good. Perfect. Will do. John Timms again. Will the implementation of rewards for evergreen content be the thing that drives more people from Hive to try out Leo Finance and Leo Threads?
Well, I mean, I think you got to be careful with talking about rewards for evergreen content because that's first off, it's just been put out there. It's not even in place, and it's giving you a percentage of the ad revenue. Um, so it's not like it's an additional reward in terms of the reward pool. And as I wrote in one of my articles, I don't know if this is going to go through or not, but I will tell you the time to get started is now. And
Right.
people should be going through their old content that's about 200 words, 300 words, and expanding it, adding in headers, sprucing it up, refreshing it. Because if something like this does go through, and I have no idea what it'll look like, I don't know if it'll be based on, a certain amount of um, clicks each month, a certain amount of revenue coming in each month. Like, an article has to generate, I'll just make up a number here again, $25 a month,
Right.
to be eligible. I don't know. Will it be based on author? Will it be based on, who knows? But the point being is this is an idea that's floated. It's one that's sensible, I think can be accomplished. And it turns into people thinking long term. And I've been saying this for years. Think long term. Build a database.
Heck yeah.
Suddenly Leo Glossary is eligible for all these for this advertising revenue. If again this is implemented, there's 2,900 pages for Leo Glossary that are now eligible. I didn't build Leo Glossary. I didn't start Leo Glossary with this in mind.
Right.
And I don't know if I'll even take the ad revenue. I'll have to figure that out. And, maybe that's a way to get other people involved in Leo Glossary where the ad revenue can be used to incentivize them and give them rewards for, contributing to the project. But, these are all the doors that open. And how long have John Go I've been writing about and talking about? At least 2 years. We got a decentralized database. This costs you no money. You have free storage. Use it. You can build a database. These are the most heavily visited sites on the internet when you look at them. And, people don't, and yes, I know there's problems with SEO. I know there's problem being on blockchain and the most multiple front ends. Yes, I understand that. And Google may wake up to this at some point, or they may never wake up to it. Who knows? But, you can do things to get around that. And part of it is just starting to move forward, build it, and figuring out, do I build a website? Do I pay somebody to build a website for this? Do I put it on its own? What do you do? I mean, there's ways to go about it, but you got to get started. But again, John, entrepreneur, you either have an entrepreneur and figure, I'm going to treat this as a business, or you just like your slave mindset and say, I'm a slave. I want all this, but I don't want to do any of the work. There's business owners and there's people who get a paycheck.
Crazy. Another question. Do you think the following tab on Leo Threads should not be showing replies, but just the starting thread only of people you follow? Say yes, please.
Oh, the following tab. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I would say, I would say you want it just for the clicks, if nothing else. If you see a following and it has 10 comments, you just want to see, I want to see what Django wrote. I see Django's thread, I click on it. If there's 10 people replied, then I see the 10 replies. If not, I see Django's thread and I say, well, that's John being stupid again. Next. I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. You need to clean that. That needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. Have you guys ever used the trending tags section on the right? Can't say I've ever used it even once. What are your ideas for a better use of the valuable screen real estate?
I think it's valuable there as it is. I think our tags suck because you got too many jackasses type in the word threads and using the hashtag
Leo
thread.
finds Hive.
It's like you're a fucking idiot. I mean, do you go to Twitter and write tweets?
Yeah.
Hashtag tweets. I mean, we know where we are.
Hashtag Twitter.
But again, that's the size, that's the volume. It's the problem is we got Good Morning Friends, from Nifty. That's pretty much a worthless trending tag. No offense, Nifty, but it is. It's like, what are you learning from that? The threads, that's a waste. Hive is wasted because people just write it because they're on Hive instead of, okay, if it's a thread about Hive, okay, that makes sense, but they're not even doing that. Then you have a couple others in there that are just really stupid. Threat tags are a way to find out information, or they should be. And when you have these threads there that don't do anything other than just rah, it's not. It's supposed to be a directory. And yes, we don't have them based upon, okay, this hour trending is Gary Gensler, or this hour we're going to have, Joe Biden or the New York Yankees or whatever trending, because we don't have that much traffic. But, we could have better trending tags where if somebody outside of Leo Threads or outside of Hive shows up, they see a trending tag and it makes some sense to them. I mean, what does GM Friends mean to them? Nothing. What does C and Hive mean to them? What does Threads mean to them? Nothing. It's like at least transfer news, which Wealth West is doing. I mean that at least is his EPL transfer news. I wouldn't use that term, but I mean, these are transactions tied to the EPL. So somebody clicks on that, they're going to get information on what's going on in the EPL. We have one or two tags that are worthwhile like that. The rest of them are not. So it's not the space. It's just we need to better tag it. And Congo wrote an article about this, about a month ago, about the value of tags and how you can build a good database of tags, and it could be very valuable.
My mom keeps calling. She doesn't. Sorry for the constant interruption. This was an idea that we had at CTP Talk. We wanted to do this, and we were working on it, but now that's kind of been put on pause. But I would love the option, Cal, if you're listening. Do what Medium took away. Medium took away the opportunity for people to basically build their mailing list on their blogs. So if people remember Medium, you could write your article, and then at the bottom you'd have a little capture, fill out this form for more content from me, et cetera, whatever, Substack type of stuff. That would be great for posts. I don't know if you put that on a thread, if you can put it somewhere, if it's your specific thread where I can get people to opt into my email list, spend Leo to do it, premium feature. So we're going to do it CTP. We're going to give people the option to list build with their blog posts. So just ideas. John says, what's your ideal length of time for the Crypto Maniacs show? Just wondering if I should tone down the amount of questions I ask for brevity's sake. No, I mean, I try to keep it under an hour just because that seemed like all the experts say. But then you have Joe Rogan who goes on for 3 hours. But we try to keep it under an hour. But by all means, please don't stop the questions. I would rather have more questions and go longer than sitting there and go, okay, well, we've talked for 15 minutes. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. That's my opinion. I don't know. Task got a different one.
Yeah, I mean, we usually can get a lot of them in based upon the time. It's you can get a lot of questions in an hour.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're 45 minutes and we only got one more question. I mean, it's and that's like good timing. Like it's it's not too long. It's we got through the questions, so please keep the questions coming. Don't ever be shy We appreciate it. But Nifty wants to know, when can we expect videos from Chuck or John? Well, obviously the setup works. I mean, I can set it up. So you guys might, it all depends on good Wi-Fi, because uploading videos to 3Speak on my phone in Canada, especially where I am, there's no 5G here where I'm at. This is LTE 3G most of the times. So I need good Wi-Fi to upload stuff. I have good Wi-Fi here, but because I'm at a truck stop. So that I want to do stuff like that, but it'll be a lot more like to type posts to start until we'll see. But I'm loving this. I mean,
Sounds like Leo Threads to me.
Leo Threads, yeah, tons of Leo Threads content. So yeah, I can't do the videos unless I have good Wi-Fi. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not forgetting anyone.
Did you refresh?
Yeah, okay, we have two more. Let me see. Okay, Dane, I'm very pro topic tags, but Good Morning Friends is a community and project on Wax. It has NFTs and opens up Hive to Wax. It's not the same as Gosh or Threads. Yeah, that's Nifty's thing, right? Like it's completely it's on Wax, right? There's a reason why he's got it going. So
well, yeah, he can't do NFTs on Hive to begin with, so he he has a problem with that. But again, GM friends, somebody sees it, it's like, well, what is this? I mean, maybe they'll look into it, but yeah, Gosh is another one that's always up there. And again, the problem with Gosh, and I'm glad Dane brought it up, is you see it used and it's not even with the link. I mean, that's how it's used for. People are just using Gosh in a thread, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? It's like,
they're trying to get their credit, their tokens.
Yeah, of course, they're just and they're just trying to scalp the they're tag spamming is what they are.
Yeah.
And that's what you get when you have rewards. I mean, tag spamming's bad enough on regular stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Nifty's project. I think Nifty's project is good, but
Jay Fang ends us off tonight. I'm here late and we'll watch the beginning later, but what do you think about Celsius getting hit by a lawsuit 1 year after they declared bankruptcy? I heard the CEO also got arrested. I got to look, I got to share my Celsius story. So probably just right around the time that we started Cryptomaniacs, I started diving into all of these lending platforms. So I was looking into Celsius, I was looking into Nexo. Crypto.com wasn't really on my radar it was more of, hey, I can get a debit card. So those were the three. I got into all of them, but something in my gut told me Celsius was there's something wrong about it. Mainly, you know why? Because all of the influencers were talking about how great it was. That was my clue. They were always saying it has the best returns. It has this. The sell token is this. Oh, it's this. I'm going to make so much money. You can make so much money too. Nexo's okay. Crypto.com's okay. But you really want to check out Celsius. So I got into all three. I got out of Celsius way before that stuff crumbled. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I was in Nexo. I got out of Nexo. I was done with trying to do that, lending thing. And Crypto.com, I literally use it as an onboarding, offboarding tool. That's it. I don't use it for anything like that. So, yeah, Celsius from day one, I just felt was suspect. So, does it surprise me they're getting hammered with? No, not.
I just like that they got sued for like $4.5 billion in bankruptcy. I mean, it's like how are you going to pay $4.5 billion in bankruptcy? I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to pay the government before the creditors. I mean, it's probably so. I mean, that the government's going to say, "Well, pay us first." I don't know who sued them, if it was the SEC or whatnot. Yeah, and they picked up the CEO and are bringing criminal charges against him. So, yeah, But they're not banks. That's the problem. I mean, they're not doing anything different that the banks don't do. I mean, hell, Bank of America just paid, hundred couple $100 million fine, 250 million or something for setting up fake accounts or some shit. It's just a cost of doing business to these shysters. So, that's where the Coinbase and the Celsius and the FTX is a different story altogether. But the Celsius, they're not banks.
Right.
So that's the difference. If Gensler wants this stuff in the hands of the banks, BlackRock gets into it. BlackRock will do whatever scheming shit BlackRock always does and get away with it.
Yep.
And if they get caught, they'll pay $1 billion, and if they pay $1 billion, they made $3 billion, and that's how these clowns operate. So I mean, Celsius it had to go down. I mean, from what little I know, and I'm not an expert, but it was a clown show. It was a fraud. Wasn't as fraudulent from what I can see as FTX, but and that's the problem with these new industries. It brings people like that. We had that with the internet. Look at all the scams done in the early days of the internet.
We had it at Steam and Hive. Like, it was there too. Like, there was people there saying, "Oh, come and join," and then they're like bad mouthing it on YouTube, which is hilarious. A big shout out to Neo for calling that guy out on his YouTube channel too. Neo, friend of the show. Dude,
what guy did he call out?
Buddy Boy, what's his name? I forget his name. The guy who did. He's down in Florida. He was the big YouTube guy. He was into Dash. What's his name? How come I can't remember his name?
BitBoy?
No. He was the Steam guy. He was huge on Steam.
Jerry
Banfield. Yeah, he was like smack talking Hive, and Neil goes into his comments. He's like, "Bro, come on, man, stop trolling." So you made so much money with Steam because of everything you were pitching. So you're getting downvoted now because people caught on to you. So that's whatever. It's some people's children, man. Anyways.
Yeah. Jerry's an interesting guy, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, good show, man. And apologies to the Cryptoholics for going into their time slot. We'll try to get that worked out if you're watching live. If you're just listening to the recording, man, I hope you're enjoying it because you're probably listening to it on a Sunday, or a Monday. Hopefully we're here on Tuesday. Toodles.